Greetings, ladies and gentlemen.
Traptendo.
What's going on? DJ F here. Smash that like button because we're going to be talking about Maximus today. We got a quick little guide I'm doing. And, please, guys, don't mind some of the dropouts that we might have here. I might have some codec issues, and I'm not talking about Kodak Black. I'm talking about the codec within my audio interface, or mainly my console back to my laptop. It causes little audio drops and weirdness, so I do apologize for that. Please listen on headphones or studio monitors, please. And this track right here that I'm about to play, you can download the FLP for free. Just look for that and go to the link in the description box and look for that on the website at djmccree.net. So let's play this quick example. I know you are tired of hearing this beat if you've been on my channel the last week or the last couple of days. All right, so, we're going to talk about Maximus in a whole of what it is overall overview. So Maximus is a multiband compressor, and it's different from other compressors. Some other compressors do not compress the low, mids, and highs, so thus making this a multiband compressor. The mode that I have it in right now is called bands, so you can actually make the bands to make a dance. You can raise the volume of it individually of each and every band. So that makes it kind of related to the EQ over here, but the only subtle difference is that you can, sweep the frequencies and all of that versus you compressing your frequencies and, controlling the overall volume, because that's what a compressor is a volume envelope in general. And you'll see that when I explain more. So yeah, you're controlling the different volumes of each and every one, making this a very powerful tool. Do mind that, yours will probably look like this. I don't know why I did that in the master. I don't know why. Just reset it. And what you're resetting right here is the stereo separation. This is the stereo separation knob, in which, if you go all the way to the right, that's mono. And if you go all the way to the left, that is stereo. You do not want to add too much stereo to your mix because it thins out the sound within the mono field, in which, my console is mono. So it would sound very weak in different mono fields. Anyways, you have, again, the three different bands there. So you have low, mids, and highs. And you'll notice one thing about this right now, and which is this graphical knee. Usually it's called like threshold on other compressors. And this is the best representation for it, I believe, as I scratch this out. And you can only do this in FL Studio 12.3, I believe, and above, mind you. Now that we have a good look at this graphical knee, let's look at what it's doing. And I'm going to introduce you to another feature. Now I have it in solo mode, and in solo mode, I can listen to just the lows, just the mids, or just the highs. Now I'm going to introduce you to another mode right here that's very important, which is the monitoring mode, in which you can monitor what is getting compressed, and you can actually see it visually. Watch when I go to the lows. Now you can see that it's entering the compression right here and controlling the peaks of the lower frequencies. Wow. And you can also see where the compression is happening on the peaks. You observe the light green. Slow it down. Observe the light green right here is the maximum peaks, and the darker green is the peaks that are getting compressed. More speed. So there you go. You can see it again. This blue line, as you can see, it is color coded. This blue line, or right here, is the post gain, where the post gain is at, and the purple is the pre gain. When you mess with the band mode, you're adding pre gain. So that's pretty much the wrap up, like, of the main features here. One thing I do want to call to your attention is that you don't necessarily need to add a TAC. If you see this TAC here, it works just like your ADSR, and I'm gonna pull up a ADSR real quick so y'all can see this, because it's very important that you learn this this particular part here. Let's go to ADSR. ADSR. Anywhere you want to appear, ADSR. Let me see. All right, so we have an ADSR, and we're gonna see the related relationship that it has towards Maximus and its attack. And I'll pull up Maximus again. Now, with this ADSR, you'll see attack. So what is this ADSR? If you roll the ADSR down right here, you get a faster attack within whatever sound that is in that kick. It also, it's not, it doesn't have to be active. Let me turn that off. But what that does is the compression within your compressor of choice. Whoa. You have it will be faster attack, meaning that the compression will be introduced faster than if it was like this. That means you will have more of the dry signal up front than it would be the compressed signal. And that's all that means. But I usually just lower it down. I don't care for messing with that, not within Maximus. However, I did notice within this track, and I'm going to play it, and we're going to talk about this. Now, there is two different worlds when it comes to compression, and one of them are not really talked about very often. As you can see here, and listen for this, when I push this in, the lows get smaller. You hear that? That's because it's being compressed harder. Now, if I was to do the exact opposite and go to the left, the lows become very, very big and violent. Now, that is called expansion. Expanding actually does the exact opposite of compression, obviously. So you get more of a aggro mix. So with that, you can do certain things with this. Now, this is a hard knee. This is a hard graphical knee right here. This is how a hard knee will look like if you are messing with a compressor and it didn't have this graphic on here. Now, what this is doing means it's introducing that compression and pushing it faster. Now, what you can do is give it a soft knee and make that bass heavier, or since we're in the lower frequencies hit harder, and that is called a soft knee. And now let's hear how it sounds. So you just got to play these things by ear the way you want your mix, or visualize your mix. Do keep in mind that I do have the lower frequencies in mono, because again, I want everything to be dead center, be like. I want like frequency content to stay in the middle, so it's consolidated. And if you look at how the arrangement of it is, and I want you to pay attention to this graphical knee, that bass is that bass, or the lower frequency content in general, since this is on the master bus anyways, that lower frequency content is about the same as my overall master volume. Now, if you don't want your bass to overtake like your overall mix or whatnot, You can do this right here. Just lower it. Boom. And let's hear it now. I'm gonna unsolo. Now I'm gonna raise it up. I'm gonna raise it up to 9. It's gonna be ridiculous, but you know, or raise it to about whatever, about 8, 7.5 or whatever. You can almost hear that the fact that it is that the lower frequency is taking over the overall, which that means you can arrange how your bass is going to be big or not. It's just up to you to what you want in terms of that. You can also, if I bring your attention back to here, and you know, you can see it visually and see what is taking the most. So you can actually see where everything is sitting into this arrangement there. So, you know, that is the quite important part of like your mixing in general when you're doing stuff in Maximus, you know, to say the least. Now, another thing that I want to point out here that I did not do within mixing this track is I didn't mess with the bands. And, you know, I'm really disappointed in myself because I usually am good at, you know, doing such things, but I haven't messed with Maximus in quite a while, up until about this week. Let's see. If you can hear what's going on, you can actually understand what you're doing. You're pretty much arranging what takes the most presence within your mix within FL Studio's Maximus. And that's one of the, again, that's one of the best things about this particular compressor and why a lot of people love it is the fact that not only can you see it visually, you can hear it and see that you're arranging certain things a certain way so that you can have your mix, you could dictate how your mix is going to be at the end of the day. Which is key to, you know, per se, you know, you have a track, you're mixing it down or whatnot, and you know, you get to this master bus here and you're mastering your beat, and you know, you notice that you got a little bit too much bass. You can pretty much or too much lower frequency content, and you can pretty much just adjust it right here and arrange it so that, you know, your bass isn't too much, and you know, you can have your mids, you know, where you want them, and then you might want to even add more highs. So, you know, that's just something I want y'all to go off of. Think about that or whatnot. Now, there are other features on here. You know, I just want to focus on the main features, and maybe perhaps, you know, if you have a comment or a question, just leave it in the comment section and I will get to it momentarily in another video, another mixing tips video. So yeah, so you have those things right here that you these powerful tools that you do. I usually don't mess with these two knees right here because I usually have enough middle frequency content that I mess with by via EQing on the mixer or whatnot. Which I think I did a fair amount of EQing on the ARP and the snare. You know, just the usual stuff that I've already talked about in other videos. So, you know, you can see kind of like what is the purpose of like Maximus there, and why is it, you know, so efficient at what it does, and why a lot of engineers like this, and probably why they're like other companies like Isotope, you know, have jumped on the wagon of these multi-band compressors and whatnot, just getting advantage and just, you know, learning from there, as well as Fab Fiber. because this has been out for quite a while. I think this came out in 2004, I believe. Maximus has, and it can be a VST as well if you know if you're not using FL Studio and you're on this channel, just picking up stuff. But again, you probably already know that, and you would be having this in Studio One or your Ableton Live and all that. So yeah, I picked up solo. Oh, well, I guess I can mess with saturation. Again, messing with the threshold and changing the ceiling. You can actually see this. You have to go back into monitoring mode and you can see where you are adding the saturation. So we're gonna go in solo and listen. I'm gonna go ahead and reset. As you can hear some of the saturation being pushed down into the compression, and you also see a new graphical representation of what is being saturated. You can mess with the ceiling and raise it up. Now your bass is kind of raised up into its own kind of. It has a little bit of mid and high frequency content here that you can hear there. Now here's another thing that and that's pretty much how your saturation is. You just got to mess with it with taste. To close things out, again, you gotta to engage this thing and to see everything visually, you have to engage it by pressing this little button right here. Hopefully I did cover that earlier. I don't think I did, but you can see where your lower frequency content is going. Now this is where another little wrench comes in. You can actually dictate how much of your lows you want. As you can hear, if I go over, you start hearing like the middle frequencies. This comes in handy because there might be lower frequencies that you really want to concentrate on. So that way, when you hear you can hear that, boy, that beat is something real. When you hear your lower frequencies and focus on it, as you can see, the most prominent lower frequencies are around in here. And if I was to go to your mids, see where most of the mids are, and you can adjust. And now when I go and press the master in a second, you'll hear that the mix will sound different again, in which you'll hear more of the control of it. So that's again the power of Maximus. And again, looking at this visual representation, you'll know how much of the lows are loud, where it sits in the mix in general once you're in Maximus. I just want to keep on reminding you guys that, so that way that you become sharper when you start using Maximus in general. These things will help you out. So if you like this video, give it a like. If you have any comments, please leave a comment. I know this video is probably too long. Anyways, I'm DJ Hammercree, and I thank you guys for hanging in with me, and I hope you learned something. Ask me questions in the comment section. You already know how I do. Thank you. I really do appreciate y'all guys.